It's People Station V103 ATL's #1 for hip hop and R&B. I am your lifestyle specialist, Kenny Burns. Ladies and gentlemen, my in-laws and my wife set me down this past weekend, and I had to watch this movie. They told me I had to watch it since I'm on social media so much. I said, well, what's the name of the movie? They said The Social Dilemma. And then last night, I see my sister, Angela Benton. She's hosting something, a screening and a conversation. And I said, I have to call her because artificial intelligence is real. Angela Benton, welcome to the Kenny Burns Show, baby.
Hey, Kenny.
How
I'm
are
excited to talk about this because you know how I know the movie was crazy, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Like it scared me, sis. And first of all, how are you? Good? You everything's good? You whole?
Good. I'm happy. I'm healthy.
I
I'm
know
blessed.
you raised like $100 trillion for your business in the pandemic, child. Congratulations. That's another conversation. So, the social dilemma. I often pay attention to social media and the things that I'm doing because I really care about my offering. I have purpose, you know, with my product now, and everything I do has to mean something. But I notice that the algorithms, the computer emotions, you know, they tell their own story. And then watching Social Dilemma, child. I mean, what is it called?
The social dilemma.
When I saw the Social Dilemma, child, I'm talking about mind blown.
Yeah. Yeah. And we talked about this a little earlier this year where, you know, I don't think people realize how much algorithms really control, our everyday life. And we spend so much time on social media. What was great about the social dilemma is I think they did a really good job at breaking down what's actually happening. And, it's not just, people like me on social media talking about this. These are people that worked at Facebook, at, Twitter, Google, at all of the major tech companies. And they are also saying that, it's a problem.
Yes, child. And I wanted to say this, artificial intelligence is real. Like we see these sci-fi movies and we wonder, you know what I'm saying? Like, is it even possible? Could a robot or a computer actually, you know what I'm saying, control the narrative? And yes, it is clear than ever that that's what they want. I mean, we saw it early on with actual machines taking the place of humans and packing and shipping and things of that nature. Then we saw when social media hit, even most recently, it's almost like you could think something and it'll pop up on your screen. And it's scary because literally, I mean that. It's like you could think something without saying it. Obviously, when you say it, the cameras, the microphones pick it up. Next thing you know, I want to work out, child. I've been trying to do it. Next thing you know, you got an ad for Peloton.
Yes.
My thing is, what is the defense for humans against this artificial intelligence?
Yeah, I think when people think about artificial intelligence, they're thinking about it from like Terminator, like a physical robot, hardware. But the fact of the matter is, AI is taking over right now, like plain and simple. And so, we're at the very beginning stages of a huge movement that will power everything in society. AI powers a lot in society already. And so when you think about robots, you should really start to think about where you get your information from, which is social media. Social media is not like an alternative, media channel. It's mass media. It's the new mass media. You know what I mean? And the issue with that is that it's powered by algorithms. And then so, you're not turning on the TV and going to Channel 5 News and getting, a verified report of something. You're logging on to Instagram, you're logging on, to Facebook, you're logging on to Twitter, and what you are seeing is what the algorithm says that you should see.
Exactly.
And it's not verified, it's not anything, So, and I mean, we can even talk about it in terms of the election, that's coming up.
Right.
This is why it is so important to really understand where you get your information from and start to develop your own thoughts for yourself, because You know, in the last election, this is how Russia literally infiltrated.
No,
Like,
listen, sis, you know what's crazy? I literally saw the leader of the free world, President Donald Trump, repost a meme. He
mhm.
reposted the meme of Joe Biden holding his phone to the podium, and somebody else created and threw in "fuck the police" by NWA. Like literally, he reached and he was like, and I could honestly believe that he didn't know that that was a meme. His
Yeah. Now this was a graphic, like a picture meme or video.
This was a meme, video meme on social
Okay.
media.
So
But,
now we're talking about deep fakes.
right,
So deep fakes is where they can take your image and likeness and place it in a video and it looks exactly like you. And the AI is so intelligent, the moves are like you. It's that the deep fake shit is honestly, sorry, I don't know if I can cuss, but it's scary
yeah,
because when you think about the ability to take someone's image and likeness, you can do that for people that are in leadership in Congress, you know, leaders of the free world. That is a very scary thing when you're talking about propaganda and manipulating the masses, basically.
100%, 100%. And to your point of talking about how social media is mass media and not like always honorable, honest, thoughtful, or correct information you're receiving from this media. You literally, I think they just said like 400 and something lies as it adheres to politics. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying? That are floating around that people are regurgitating, and it's almost like the emotions versus algorithm too, right? Like when you talk about artificial intelligence, and then you think about a human, right? So artificial intelligence is really guessing your moves rather than knowing your moves. And with humans, we switch up in a heartbeat. We can
Yeah.
feel like stabbing somebody in the face in 1 minute, and then in the next minute we be holier than thou, praying to God for I'm talking about for
Yeah.
calm. So
Yeah.
I don't. How do you see that kind of balancing out? Because that's really dangerous.
Well, what was interesting about the Social Dilemma, the movie that's on Netflix, is I was really excited that they talked about the algorithms and how they're manipulating people's emotions.
Come on.
Uh, and so it's something, you know, that's called social engineering. And there are classes at Ivy League schools that literally teach this. It's basically called growth hacking. It lives kind of within product development, and it's how they try to get the usage and engagement up. But the issue with that is there's a fine line between product growth and manipulating the masses. And so things like sending push notifications or someone tagging you, you know, in a picture, those little um, micro notifications, those are the things that make you say, I need to go on to Instagram and check my Instagram. And you end up spending hours on there all day. Like I have my notifications turned off
Right. Me too.
because I noticed that, you know, when you get a notification, you're like, oh, let me see. Oh, somebody just posted a picture. I got a notification the other day that says somebody changed their username. And it's like, why am I getting a notification on this?
Right.
But it to bring me back to the app.
That's crazy. I was sitting talking to my in-laws while watching Social Dilemma, which you are doing a screening on. I want you to give everybody information about that. But I literally was watching it, and it was talking about. We actually were having sidebar conversations while this is happening, right? So they were equating it back to their day about targeted infomercials, right? Because or even messages from the church back in the day, like they were saying when they wanted to know about politics, they would ask the preacher and you ain't know who got to the preacher by the time you asked the question. And then you talk about targeted marketing and campaigns and the things you saw in your neighborhoods versus in the inner city versus suburbs. Like it's very targeted, but with the social spectrum, you can really, you know what I'm saying, blow somebody's mind in the worst way with the
Yeah.
wrong information.
Yeah. Well, that's what's happening right now. It's a ton of misinformation, you know, that is going around. And honestly, what's terrible is when you look at social media usage, you know, African Americans use social media more than any other ethnic group. And
100%.
so the issue now becomes people don't equate what's happening with algorithms and what's happening with data as a Black issue. It is a Black issue.
Look at the surgeries. Look at the
Yes.
thirst for everything that means nothing, like cars and frivolous
Yeah.
stuff. I mean, we see it so much. It's almost like, why do we get it so much? I mean, not people are doing it, but even myself, if I post, you know, and I report about Cardi B and Offset getting a divorce, I'm talking about 100,000 views. If I
Yeah.
talk about how I want hip hop to find love and we could do it and have Black families and brown families and grow, child cheese. I'm talking about crickets. And my thing is like, it's almost like there's something in the algorithm that says money, drugs, violence. I mean, think about this, Angela. 2 years ago, literally 2 years ago, all you saw was lean, purple drink, weed, get high, get fake boobs, fake asses, do all these things so that you could be accepted in society. Then you turn around and what do you see only on social media?
Right.
That's what you see.
You see all those things, right? You know, what's interesting is we actually posted this on the Culture Instagram yesterday. And so Culture, for those that don't know, is a product that my company Streamlytics has that specifically helps African Americans own and monetize their data. So we posted something about the Twitter algorithm yesterday where a young man on Twitter did an experiment where he took a darker colored face. It was an illustration and a lighter colored illustration. And he uploaded the images, attached it to a tweet. And what Twitter's algorithm does is it looks for the lightest point in an image. And so it showed the white image first, not the Black person's image first. Now he tried it with also a lighter skinned Black person and a darker skinned Black person, and it showed the lighter skinned Black person first. Right. And so when you are thinking about, you know, what you're posting or what you're consuming, you know, if I posted a flyer for the Social Dilemma screening, it's a lot of words on it, but if I post a selfie, it's gonna go, you know what I mean? Right. And so the algorithms are literally powering what we see, what we digest. And the horrible thing about it is, and what the film was so excellent in articulating, is that these platforms are controlling our lives.
Yes.
We don't even have a tool within Instagram or Facebook that says, hey, let me turn this switch and my Instagram is going back to chronological order, right, versus powered by the algorithm. That's because they don't care. That's because it's about engagement.
That's right. Well, you are doing a screening. Talk about the screening and what you're doing and the conversation you're having around it.
Sure. So the screening, we actually have some bonus footage from the film, which is awesome. And it's, you know, I don't like that they use the term screening when we work with them, because we're not screening the whole film. We're showing some of the bonus footage, but it is next week on September 30th at 4 p.m. Pacific time, 7 p.m. Eastern time. And the whole idea is really to do a deep dive and talk about how technology is controlling us. What's great about the film is, you know, they obviously talked about the social engineering piece of it, but they talked about the mental health piece of it as well. There's a lot of young kids, you know, I'm a mother of 3. There's a lot of young kids who are on social media and they think they're not doing what they're supposed to be doing at, you know, 20, or they should look a certain way at the age of 20. You know what I mean? Just purely by what they're shown on Instagram. They even mentioned Gen Z, I think, has an increase of like 160% in terms of suicide rate.
Yo,
and
listen,
so crazy.
Yo, Angela, listen, today we actually on V103, we're doing a 2-hour discussion about at 6 p.m. tonight about, you know, suicide prevention and how to save these young kids' lives, because the mental health thing is out of control. Like, they literally look at social media and get discouraged. I mean, I was even saying that, like, you know, early on, my sons, like, I was on fire at 13 and 14 with the girls. And then I'm looking at my sons, I'm like, what y'all doing? You know what I'm saying? But they're desensitized because they're looking at things that they know at 13 and 14 they just can't, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know, and so I think we have to do more for our children, one. Two, we have to figure out things like, you know, for people like myself, like you, that are in media, that always literally have to go see what's going on. I mean, we're, you know, more mature and old enough to kind of shut off when we need to, but
Right.
also to shift through the BS that's on the, you know, in the social sphere. But we got to figure out some things. And that's why I wanted to have you on today, because the things you're teaching people are so necessary to create balance in their lives and to kind of discern and disseminate through the rhetoric, because it's a lot of lies and misinformation flying around out here.
Yeah, there really is. And one thing, I'm a firm believer in the Black community. You know, we have the numbers, we have, you know, the activity on social media where if we really come together, I think we can change things in terms of how the algorithms are manipulating our lives for the better, you know, for everyone. And, you know, again, just to echo, you know, even the stuff that you and I were just discussing around, you know, the youth being desensitized and increased suicide rates. This is a Black issue because Black people are on social media more. And so every time you know, I just challenge everyone to, every time you tend to think about, okay, this is a technology issue. No, this is a Black issue. It's a Black issue because we're on social media more. It's a Black issue because we are the largest and the fastest growing population globally, and we will be the majority in the years to come. And so it really is an issue for our community. And if we're getting controlled by social media, by these algorithms, then we will be the majority in numbers, but we will be controlled by algorithms and technology.
That's crazy. Well, we will remain humans and not turn into artificial intelligence, robot dummies, crash dummies. Angela, keep doing the work. You know, I'm proud of you. We got to talk more on my show. I need another voice besides my own, because I'm always every day talking about vote. You got to vote. Wait, stop. Think about what you do before you're doing it. I'm a convicted felon. Trust me, you don't want to go that route. But I need people like yourself that are doing the work to continue to help amplify your voice, and then obviously come on here on the Kenny Burns Show and V103 and help the people in Atlanta and worldwide. So I appreciate you, sis.
Thank you so much for having me. And honestly, Kenny, thanks for using your platform, because a lot of people hear technology or algorithms or AI and they're like, oh, that's for like the nerds, you know what I mean? And they tune off. But just thank you so much for using your platform and really showing your leadership here with helping to spread the word.
Thank you, sis. We'll do this again very soon. You keep going, and love to the 3 kids in the family.
Thank you. Kiss Jessica and the kids.
I will. Keep going.
Okay. Bye.
Love. Peace. All right, sis. Thank you for calling in. We'll talk soon.
Okay. Bye.
All right. Love.